me if you want to live. You just don't turn it off!
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason, and you're watching Backtrack Cinema, and tonight we are doing a Frankenstein watch party with my good buddy Caleb from the Dark Ether Files podcast. It is Tuesday night. It is 9:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I am up in Ontario, Canada, close to Toronto. And yeah, I hope everyone who joins us tonight is excited about this. I am. I'm excited about Frankenstein. Love this, but to my buddy Caleb here, Frankenstein, man, thank you for joining me on this watch party.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's great to be here. This is a good start to the spooky season, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, guys, if you see my little screen there, we're gonna be watching this together. We're queued up around 3 seconds in, just as Buddy's ready to open the curtain. We'll get on our way soon, but Sergeant Shitty Pickle is here. He says, "You're shitty. What's going on, man?" We got Kyle say, "Hey, Jason, Caleb, one of my favorite films." Me too, man. I absolutely love this film. And Caleb we're streaming from Caleb's channel too, so there should be so anybody comes in on your channel will be here. I'm not sure if it lets me know or not. So far, it just looks pretty normal, so I do not know. But anyways, you'll have to let me know, Caleb, after the fact.
Yeah, for sure.
In a couple of days, if you got action on there. But anyways, it's just more of you can watch. That's all. If you're on one of Caleb's followers, so absolutely. So spooky season is here, guys, and 31 Days of Horror started today. So I will have a video dropping every single day in the month of October. And that's no joke. Trust me, I've been busted my ass for a whole month recording and editing around the fucking clock. I shit you not. So we have 16 uploaded videos already. So I got to record the back half now. And hold on to your fucking nuts, man, because this was fun, the stuff I've recorded, because I didn't do reviews. This was just me shooting from the hip, sitting in front of the camera, talking about a lot of my favorite movies, rankings, stuff like that. So it's a different experience, I think. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So I did drop the first one today by Halloween Tradition, so go check that out. And we're going to get on our way soon because this is a pretty short movie, an hour and 10 minutes. Not a very long movie, but man, substance. And, original book written by Mary Shelley, and I think 1818. She was only 18 years old. Very, very interesting reading with her. Finding out what she had a dream, something scared her, this kind of lethargic monster, and she said, "I'm going to write about it because if I'm scared, other people will be too." And we'll talk more about it as we go along in this film. But Caleb, what's your overall thoughts on this movie?
It's my first of the Universal monster films when I watched as a kid. I have some... Frankenstein is the monster because he played the god that makes him the monster. Yeah. But yeah, first Universal monster movie that I watched. I remember going to my local library just to find these movies on DVD. At the time, we didn't have Blu-ray yet, so finding some of these movies out in the wild on DVD, it was like the holy grail, right? I didn't have a lot of expectations going in. Of course, I'm a kid. I didn't have a lot of experience as far as some of these movies are concerned. The fact that it was black and white never bothered me. A lot of the Godzilla movies I watched, well, I mean, not all of them, but the first two, they were in black and white. So I was already accustomed to the black and white theme of it all. But Frankenstein is a character that has surpassed generations. Even to this day, the legacy of the Frankenstein monster has, you see it everywhere. It's a pop culture icon, and it's not just exclusive to the U.S. It's worldwide. A fun little fact, if you will, something that I have noticed for years, is that when people imitate the monster, they always have their arms stretched out.
Yeah.
But the fun fact is that that's not actually from the Karloff monster. That in this movie, Frankenstein's monster never has his arms stuck out. It's actually Bela Lugosi's Frankenstein monster.
Right.
I forget which movie it is, but it's basically because he's blind.
Was it the Golem? Or is that different? There's one called the Golem.
I think that's a different one. I think it was one of the Frankenstein and Wolfman crossover films.
Okay.
Where Bela Lugosi was playing as the monster, and he had his arms stretched out because he was blind. So whenever they're imitating that version of Frankenstein's monster, it's not actually the Karloff Frankenstein. Who knew? I sure as hell didn't.
Well, as far as my uncle used to watch these old movies, and I remember him watching The Mummy vaguely. I remember Frankenstein, but I actually didn't watch this movie, paid attention in full until I reviewed it on the old channel before I rebranded this one. And it was a 5-star film right away. I was like, that's incredible. Like I said, how old this movie is, and it affects me this way. And Frank's awesome, man. The themes in it and the layers in it, and this guy creating this monster because he's obsessed with creating life, the dangers of morality and ethics. The mad scientist, beware of what you create. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about more about this as we watch this movie. But let me talk to some people here. Oh, we got that one. He comes back with, remember when Burger King had these characters as toys with their kids' meals back in '97? Good shit. I do not remember that, but
neither of us. Because I was born in '97.
Yeah, none of these movies would look as good in color. I believe that statement. I think you're right about that, Sergeant Shitty Pickle. They have a certain feel and aesthetic to them, and the way they can contrast the color in black and white. As we'll watch and we'll find out. What I'll go into more detail about that. Hola, this is Ginger Ninja. How you doing, buddy?
Hello there.
Hell, I remember when they used stock footage from Bride of Frankenstein for Honey Nut Cheerios. Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
He said, yeah, you're right, Caleb. It was Lugosi and Frankenstein meets Wolfman. Good movie, but Lugosi's performance wasn't quite on par with Karloff, which wasn't his fault. It was the studio, he says. Well, I think Karloff just did something special in this movie. So,
it was because of his success in The Mummy. That's why they brought him on. Initially, it was supposed to be Lugosi as Frankenstein, but he didn't want to do the role, apparently, because he said there wouldn't be much to it. It would just be him making noises. And he didn't like the fact that he would be under pounds of makeup and no one would be able to recognize him. So Karloff basically got the role because of his success in The Mummy. And I think it was a good choice because just the way that he walks, his mannerisms, there's something about it. And it's something that you notice is missing when anyone else plays Frankenstein's monster. That's not to discredit the other actors that have done the role. It's just when it's Karloff as the monster, that's the monster.
Yeah, he plays the character of vulnerability, and he plays the character of brutality.
Yeah,
at the same time, it's an amazing performance, and it's whenever I see a remake of Frankenstein or a Frankenstein in another movie like the Monster Squad. Although I think that Frankenstein was actually pretty good in the Monster Squad, but there's just something that's just like that Karloff did that was so great. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just love this character. I love the themes in it. The outcast. You could look at what Jason Voorhees is basically that outcast.
Yeah.
Got shunned and everything. And that goes into a different kind of lore and everything. But you the relatability of Frankenstein as anybody who's felt like hell, all us horror fans. When we're in a circle of non-horror fans, you feel like you're isolated. You feel like you're on a different planet that you can't even relate to any of these people, and that's where that Frankenstein. That's what I love about the story, and it's timeless that way. Because
Right.
someone is always going to be an outcast. There's always going to be a situation where you don't fit in, or
Mhm.
you don't feel like you fit in, and I love that about this story. But anyways, guys, we got to get this going, right? We got to get this going. So I'm gonna count down. I'll get to your questions as the best I can. Where me and Caleb are just gonna shoot the ship. We're gonna do a commentary for you guys, talk about the film and all that. So let's just get this baby going. I'm gonna count down from 5, Caleb.
All right.
All right, and when you hear me say play, let's play.
Mhm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. What about this brilliant opening, man?
It's pretty funny.
It's theatrical.
Of
It will
course,
horrify you.
yeah. Of course, I mean, for us today, this is laughable because we've seen much worse. But hey, you know what? For people in 1931, I'm sure they were crapping their pants, seeing some of the crazy stuff.
My grandfather would have been 6 years old when this movie come out, and he's long dead now.
Wow.
He would be 100 years old.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like it set a standard for the monster movie. Like
Yeah.
when you think of a creature feature, a monster movie, hey, Frankenstein's the standard, man.
Yeah. How about that picture in the back there? It's pretty scary. The sharp claws with the glowing
Yeah.
eyes there. Pretty freaky.
I did some reading on Mary Shelley. She went to an exhibit, and this is when a time, guys, when electricity was freaking new.
Yeah.
So they were trying to see what it would do to dead things. So they would be zapping frogs, and the frogs would come to life because
Right.
it would what do you call it? Spaz out their muscles.
Right.
It would ignite their muscles, um and then maybe it sparked an idea with her. I don't know.
Right. So
Reanimating life.
something that I was confused on in later viewings until I realized what was going on is that when I watched Dracula and The Mummy, I was always used to the Swan Lake song playing in the beginning of these movies,
Yep.
and not hearing it here was pretty bizarre.
You want to know where Jason Lives opening comes from? Watch this, man, in this cemetery.
Yeah, you got Karloff's, right? The gas station.
But just the cemetery bringing Frankenstein to life. This look at the feel of this. That's where
Yeah.
he was going for in Jason Lives.
There's Fritz.
But look at Dr. Frankenstein, the black around his eyes and shit.
Yeah.
Like look at this graveyard, man. This is beautiful looking. The slanted imagery, everything slanted and erratic and very German expressionism.
Right. Kind of has like a fantasy glow to it. I think that's one of the reasons why it works as in black and white, and why it probably wouldn't look as good in color. Because you see this also with the Wolfman, with the fog, how it has this sort of moody fantasy atmosphere to it.
Hey Matt, what's going on, buddy? He said had to
How you
drop by
doing?
to show some love for
Hello
the
there.
OG. That's from your channel. Matt just came in from, I believe.
Oh yeah,
That's
You
cool.
see?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sergeant
shit.
Shitty Pickle says also the theme music is great.
Hope
Yeah,
you're doing
absolutely.
well, Matt. Good to see you.
Matt's awesome, killing it. I love his live shows. Great.
Oh, yeah.
And like the way this movie inspires, man. So let's just take a minute, look behind. Well, I don't know if you could see it right there.
Mhm.
First Blood. Let's talk about that. To me, First Blood is a modern Frankenstein. Now, not the exact same thing, but Trotman is kind of like Dr. Frankenstein, creating something that gets let loose. It's out of control. Except for Frankenstein doesn't have that voice that Rambo has to say what's wrong at the end where he breaks down. But still, an outcast doesn't fit in. He comes back to the world. The mountains in First Blood, you could elaborate as analogy for the windmill. He
Right.
has scars all over him. He's all getting all stitched up. It's he's looked at as a monster, but he's misunderstood,
Right.
like so to speak. And that was Stallone. Stallone rewrote the script for more of a Frankenstein-esque character. And would you agree with that, Caleb? That you could almost look at First Blood as a modern Frankenstein?
100%. It uses similar plot points and themes. And that's one of the great things about storytelling is that you start to pick up on it where you have a movie that comes out. It's iconic and makes its mark. And then you have someone, a filmmaker years later, seeing the brilliance of that film and taking elements from that and bringing it into the modern age, and it makes it feel new. Like you could take Alien, for example, and you realize that, well, Alien is pretty much like a haunted house movie,
Yes.
where the Nostromo is the haunted house and the ghost is the alien, you know, picking off people one at a time. So these different elements they get reused every
Right.
century. It comes
Right.
back, and it because a filmmaker is bringing their own unique perspective, it makes it feel new. It's recycling ideas, and I think it's great because you're acknowledging what came before and then giving your own flavor to it while still respecting the past.
Look at this guy's feet just dangling, in the shop before. Oh,
Yeah, Fritz.
like this is all creepy shit, man. Like,
That would be Dwight Fry right there as Fritz. He's he was also Renfield in Dracula. He brings
yes,
that
you're
sort
right.
of crazy maniacal, sense to this role as well.
That's right. The brain is useless. We must find another brain. See, back then they used to talk to the audience a lot. That wouldn't happen now. Like, we
Yeah,
must find another brain. Of course you're gonna find another, like, they there was a lot of telling us rather than showing us.
right.
But I think that was a sign of how new movies were, how new storytelling was in this format. Um Sergeant Shitty Pickle. What do you gentlemen think of Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein? I haven't seen it, to be honest with you. So
Neither have I, but that is on my list of movies to watch. I'm sure that Danner is going to be kicking me in the balls for that because I love Mel Brooks and I love Gene Wilder. We watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory this year,
yeah,
first time watch. Um, so that was really cool. I mean, I was always aware of Gene Wilder. I just haven't seen much of his movies. But that's something that should be on the list this month, I think. We'll see.
so we have one brain, guys. That's a criminal brain, and one's a normal brain. That's where
The
Fritz,
the normal and
Fritz,
abnormal brains.
Fritz, the clumsy bastard, just freaking drops it. I think that's what happens. It's been a while actually since I've seen this, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
rewatching
Yeah, the normal brain, he drops it, and then
it.
Fritz takes the abnormal brain. Um, it's cool to see Edward Van Sloan come back as well. I mean, he's not playing the same character, but it would be cool if they had connected the characters, like having him because he played as Van Helsing in Dracula, and he
Yep.
essentially plays the same role here in Frankenstein. So it would have been cool if they took some creative liberties and
I also think this movie has a great like it moves.
mhm.
Like I know these movies, a lot of people would find them boring, but I find this one's pacing is really good.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this that these movies aren't for everybody.
No,
I would
no,
imagine that a lot of the modern audience today would be bored. Like the black and white would be a turn off, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, my wife's like that. She has a hard time with black and white, but there it is.
Yeah.
Look at the skeleton just bouncing though. Just little things like that I love.
Right.
You idiot. You know, Brad Dourif, looking at this, Brad Dourif would make a good Fritz if they,
I could see that.
remake.
Yeah.
Actually, we got a promising Wolfman coming. We have a promising Frankenstein just wrapped up filming. Guillermo del Toro, what's his name?
Guillermo del Toro? He's making Frankenstein?
Yeah, just finished filming. And James Wan's going to be producing A Creature of the Black Lagoon, which could be pretty promising. So we may be on a horizon of lots of stuff to talk about with regards to this movie. These
well,
movies.
If you think about it, we are coming up on the 100-year anniversary for some of these films.
Yeah, so it's
The Mummy would be coming first, I believe, or maybe it's Dracula. I can't remember. I think it was either Dracula or The Mummy first, and then Frankenstein comes along afterwards. I think. I can't remember.
Here's another theme I like: obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's so obsessed with his work. I believe Victor Frankenstein's mother died, and that's what's driving him.
Mm-hmm.
Playing God, I can create life. You know what I mean? Which is also it's also a Prometheus theme, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
You know, with David, right? You know,
mm-hmm.
David being created, and he's obsessed with this creation. So, it's everywhere, man. This story is fucking timeless, guys. Like,
has many different forms, but the story is always the same.
Sergeant Shitty Pickle said he's not savvy or cool here, Stallone, but
He's
as Van Helsing, he cranks it to 11.
Yeah.
I was sorting my Blu-rays out, and I found my remake to The Wolfman with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, nice.
I actually
I love that movie.
You know what? I wasn't the biggest fan when it come out, but I think I haven't watched it since it come out, so I think I'm gonna really like it on rewatch. I plan on rewatching it soon. So
I enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's underrated. I think it gets a little too much hate. And I get it because it unlike a lot of werewolf movies, this one is a remake of the Universal film. You don't see that very much with the Wolfman.
I remember the atmosphere being on point, like in the woods.
Yeah,
like all the stuff in the woods and everything. I remember being really liking, but
you could almost watch it in black and white too. I haven't tried it, but I'll try it this month. It'll be appropriate time for it.
Yeah. Freaking production design, man, on this movie.
Yeah.
And you guys can see it. Watch it with us without turning your Blu-ray player on.
Mm-hmm.
The old man's here. The old man.
Hello there.
The king of a nation. Want to say hi to y'all. How you doing, man?
Special Agent T-Con, yes, sir.
Is that 1931? Absolutely. There's only one. There can only be one.
Hey, you know what? I don't think that there's been a proper remake of this movie. Like all the movies
not that I've seen
have altered the story so much to the point where it's like a whole different thing. Like I remember Frankenstein with the guy who played as Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh God, what is his name?
Aaron Eckhart, I think.
Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, there you go. Then you have Victor Frankenstein with James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe. You know what, though? I do have to give some credit to the Hammer horror films, where you had Peter Cushing as playing Dr. Frankenstein, because Hammer actually took the Frankenstein series in a different direction than Universal, because for the most part, Universal's Frankenstein series followed the monster, but Hammer decided to follow the doctor instead. Hammer gets pretty weird with their Frankenstein stories.
Sergeant Shitty Pickle says, "Who is your favorite Universal monster?" Mine's Frankenstein. This is my favorite Universal monster movie, but a lot of to your guys' surprise, probably, I still got to go through these movies. I still haven't seen. I actually haven't seen Bride of Frankenstein, even though I have it.
Mm,
Um, I haven't seen Phantom of the Opera. I got the eight movie set.
mhm,
I've seen Dracula, but it's been a while. It
mhm.
was quite a while ago, but this one has always been my favorite. But in saying that, um, it's I like the idea of the Wolfman, the mythology, the lore. Not so
Mhm.
much the movie as much as Frankenstein,
Okay.
but I like werewolves. I love the werewolf genre. Like,
Hey,
love it, love it, love
Silver
it. And
Bullet. That's
that's
how I first found you.
yeah. And was it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's one of your first videos that I watched.
I'll prepare to watch another one because it's part of 31 Days of Horror. So, but anyways, like yeah. You got a new werewolf movie? I'm watching. I don't care what it's about. I don't care what it is. Even the bad ones, I'll watch. I love and Stan Lee used that mythology to create the Incredible Hulk. It's basically the werewolf curse. He
Yeah,
just twisted it around and did his own thing with it, like you've already mentioned about people doing their own thing.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's another thing that I just love. Now, I don't remember liking the original Wolfman as much as other people. I remember I don't know. I think I like the remake a little bit more.
Yeah, I get
I
it.
still I still I still like it though. Like I like all the movies that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why someone wouldn't like the original so much. If you're looking for a pretty crazy werewolf transformation, it's not there. I mean, it's because of the limiting technology of the time. I mean, they had to subtly and incrementally show the transformations, and really, you don't even see the monster's face like a transformation until like later, and
Yeah.
it's in reverse. Like they have the makeup on, then they're showing it taking it off.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting how they had it done. Of course, I can understand why people probably would be disappointed, but I'd
Here we
say that
go, man.
it still begs to be watched.
Here we go, man.
Yeah, this is iconic.
Now, you got to remember Dr. Frankenstein here is he thinks it's a normal brain in his creation. He doesn't realize that a criminal brain is what's there. So
Right.
he just some point in this movie he abandons Frankenstein. That says, you know what, you're like, you know what, I don't. I think in the book he didn't like how ugly Frankenstein was.
Hmm.
It was something to do with that, but this one's a little different. I think he wakes up to what he created and said, "Man, this is a monster. This is something you can't control." And he ends up having to take it out at the end. Let Trotman taking out Rambo.
Right.
Well, the book anyway. That's how the book goes. Don't you love this castle, this laboratory, and everything?
Oh
Man,
yeah.
Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. What's up, guys? Hey, how you doing, Mike? What's going on,
Hello
man?
there.
You can see where we are in the movie, but those of you who want to know, we're 18 minutes in.
Oh yeah,
Frankenstein's
I
ready
love
to
this
come to
part.
life.
I like how he just randomly fixes his sock and then keeps going. It's great. It makes no sense to have it in the movie, but
I
I
don't
love
know.
it.
I don't know if it's a charm with these movies. I'm not sure it's a charm. It's a. I just love old film. Just seeing how they were limited to effects and everything, and they had to work out. It was all story and character first,
Yeah.
but just the production design of everything, the aesthetic of everything, and the way it looks in black and white. I just love it.
Well, I think an interesting aspect that we should touch on after the famous scene here is the this movie is famous for a lot of things. One of those things is the censorship that it got.
Oh,
back in the day.
we'll talk about it. That little girl scene. Oh, fuck it. It still gets to me. The way she hits the fucking water, man, it's just, that must have been like, what the, I think that was cut actually. Like, I actually seen her in the water and stuff.
Mhm.
That must have been crazy. People must have been running out of the theater and shit. But, yeah. Sergeant Shitty Pickle says it's just testament to go from humble beginnings to cinematic greatness and werewolf transformations. Just go from the original Wolfman to American Werewolf in London.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mike says, "Cool, man. Just ran across your stream. Great damn movie. Oh yeah, I guess the algorithm's working."
Mhm. Colin Clive has such an intensity in his face. It's
Oh,
great.
his
Yeah.
eyes, man. He's great in this. And keep in mind, he's Frankenstein. I think people forget. People forget this. It's Frankenstein's monster.
Mhm.
He's Frankenstein. It's Dr. Frankenstein.
Right.
Mike says I was a subscriber already, though.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I probably thanked you whenever you subscribed at first, but thank you again. I appreciate anybody who comes out to the lives, man. Love it. Don't touch that, and the lightning comes out.
Yeah.
God, I love the lightning. I got headphones on, so you're really immersed into it.
Oh yeah.
Crazy lightning and everything like that. It's no wonder I like Jason Lives so much. And playing God, man, that's Jurassic Park stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And, playing God, bringing something back that shouldn't be brought back, all that stuff is good, man. Just good themes. But despite my mixed feelings on Lugosi's take on Frankenstein's monster, I love how the fight between him and Wolfman showcase their different strengths, monster's durability versus Wolfman's agility.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out. You know what? I always say I want to watch more black and white horror films. I never end up getting around to it.
Mhm.
But I got a huge 50 box set of all those old movies and everything. I've seen a lot of them. Like, I mean, I love Freaks. Freaks is one of my fucking favorite movies, man. And I
Yeah.
love The House on Haunted Hill is pretty cool with Vincent
Oh, yeah.
Price. I just watched the original Fly, and you know what? It wasn't overly fantastic, but for its time, I'm like, man, this is pretty good,
Yeah. Yep. And here we go.
There's a lot of build up though. Like, you can just
There is.
imagine being back then and going, we haven't seen him yet. Is this gonna work? What's gonna happen? Like, this would have been on the edge of your seat stuff right now. Back then,
Right.
this would have been insane. Like, what was happening? This big feet, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, man. So basically, Dr. Frankenstein was so preoccupied with whether or not he could that he didn't stop to think if he should. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Same thing, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forget. They bring him up right to the building.
Yep.
Right to the top of the tower. It's great, man. This is great. I love these old movies.
All the gadgets and gizmos, sounding off with all the electricity is just fantastic.
It's alive. Oh yeah, this is one of the most iconic lines that's not in the book apparently. Um,
Well, the
ever.
character of Fritz isn't in the book either.
Yeah.
That was a creation for the movie.
Here we go. It's moving. It's alive. It's alive. Now he's a madman. Look at him.
So right there, that line, that was one of the things that was initially censored. So the film board thought that line, I know now what it feels like to be God. They thought it was
Too much, man.
sacrilegious.
Couldn't handle it.
So they literally had lightning cover up what he said. But of course, it's been restored to its original thing. But a little bit of trivia for you.
Remember when Mr. Burns played Frankenstein? I don't think I do. Damn it! It's not rocket science. It's brain surgery.
So with that hat. Nice little fun fact. We don't even see the monster get up from the table. We're just left in the suspense that he created it, or that it came to life. And then we don't see it for a bit.
If I had the opportunity to make a fan film, a Frankenstein like this, I think would be fun.
Oh,
like having him out in the woods and stuff like that. Make a real suspenseful Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised a lot of people haven't. Maybe there is. Maybe I have to look it up. But I think that would be fun, man. I think that would be fun. Just to go in the woods. Let's say Frankenstein. I don't know how he. I forget how he dies in this.
Well, technically, he doesn't die.
Yeah, but I thought, what if you continued it from this?
Yeah.
Maybe it's years later. Maybe you do it like a period piece, but
I see.
I just think it'd be fun having the big guy Frankenstein walk around and doing a little fan film version of it.
Yeah, yeah.
What's he doing all by himself? Experiments.
Another interesting aspect about this movie is that there's no real soundtrack, like music.
Oh, a lot of sound effects.
Right. But no music except for the beginning and the end, I think.
And Mary Shelley, I read too, she had like 3 babies that died. Only one of her children survived.
Oh wow!
Like grew up. Like, so I'm sure a lot of that went into the writing.
Yeah.
But it astonishes me. 18 years old writing something like this, and at the time the critics didn't like. They thought it was trash.
Yeah.
And it's become a timeless novel. A lot claim it's the very first science fiction novel. Because it's a creature feature, it's a science fiction, it's a horror.
Right.
Depending on how you look at it. Poor old Walt. This is why doctors have codes of ethics. But we're gonna find.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys, I had a brain fart there. We're gonna find out that Frankenstein wakes up. He doesn't know what he is, who he is. He's got a criminal brain. He's got arms from somebody else, legs from somebody else. He's been all stitched together. God knows what he's thinking. You know what I mean? And a lot of that plays out in that the pond scene.
Yeah.
I bet you the reveal of Frankenstein was terrifying back in the day.
Yeah.
Like no one, I think they were dealing with prosthetics, right? Jack Pierce, who
Mhm.
brought a lot of the monsters to life. A Man Without a Face, he did. That was great makeup. Like
Yeah.
this here, people, I think the stories are like they're shrieking and everything. But there's something about this makeup. I don't know if it's the lighting, but just look at that. It's amazing.
Wow.
And wait, look at his body language too, right? I just
Yeah.
love the way Karloff plays this.
Yeah.
Big flat head on him. Yeah, he just didn't play a dumb brute. There's more going on here.
Yeah.
He was a big man, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doesn't like fire. I mean, this is 1931. The makeup's dated, but why can't no one get
Well,
it? Like
you know
looking
what
like
though?
this. Like
I mean, we say it's dated, but I think that it holds up better than pretty much anything we've gotten
it.
since then. As
I
far
can't
as
believe.
this version of the character,
Yeah,
nothing else compares.
yeah. It holds up extremely well considering we're almost 100 years.
Yeah.
This movie's almost 100 years old. I just thought of something funny.
Hmm.
His hands up like that. I kept the YMCA. So someone put that music in there.
Somebody did it.
Uncle Frank, man. Uncle Frank. Man, I was at Spirit.
Mhm.
They have a nice statue of Frankenstein, man.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful looking. Look at the sounds he makes and everything. I love it.
Yeah. Well, Fritz here is the retard because he keeps on
Yep.
hitting the fire. And
He's protecting himself. Shoot it. It's a monster.
The neglect and abuse is what makes him a monster.
Yeah.
Plus that abnormal brain too.
Fritz is an idiot. He's
Yeah.
But you see, Caleb, all the distortion, all the leaning, everything's leaning and out of whack, and it's definitely something Tim Burton does in Beetlejuice. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say
the distorted buildings, and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a Tim Burton film.
Great production design. Is this where Fritz gets it? I think that's where he kills him.
It is. But we don't see it.
Yeah. Off screen. There it is, man.
Yep. You know, this shot of the stairway kind of reminds me of Dracula, just a bit.
Yeah. Oh, look at Fritz just hanging there. That's awesome. Creepy, man.
Yeah.
Man, such a good performance. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's Boris Karloff, man. He was good in The Mummy too, and he was good in a lot of roles. I haven't seen probably half the stuff he's in.
Yeah, there's a lot that he's in. Felt like showing this off. So my father got this for me when he was working. It is a NECA Frankenstein monster. It's the black and white variant.
I got the same one.
Nice.
Yeah, he's up here somewhere. I don't know where he is right now. I had to get that. When that come out, I bought it right away. I was like,
oh yeah.
get that fire away from me, man.
Oh, and that, as they say, is that.
Horror icon, man. Horror icon.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Sergeant. Yeah, you know where else Mr. Karloff brought much joy? The Grinch. Yeah.
Yeah.
As the narrator, man.
It's true.
How could we forget the voice in that?
Mm-hmm.
And the Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. I think Derek Mears, who played he was in Predators and he played Jason in Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah.
I think he'd make a great Frankenstein if they did
very
one like
interesting to see.
Yeah. Got the size. His face though, I think would really suit this makeup.
Yeah.
I also think he'd make a great Darth Vader because of the he's that got bald head and everything.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's that for?
Dr. Waldman.
This guy's an old nag, man.
Yeah.
That's all in a day's work, man. I
Right.
created a monster. It killed my assistant. What do I do?
Try to kill me too.
The thing with Frankenstein, it's like if you did a list of horror villains, I don't think I'd put him on a villain list. Like, it's too complex of a character. Like,
Yeah, he's not a villain like Dracula or the Mummy. He's more misunderstood.
it's like Jason Voorhees could be looked at like that. I mean, I consider him a complete horror villain, but when you enter his domain, he attacks.
Right.
It's not like he goes out. Jason doesn't go out in, loathing in the killing.
Yeah.
He gets drawn out. That's something that gets drawn out because someone's trespassing, basically.
Right.
That's how I've always looked at the character, anyway.
Yeah.
And Frankenstein's really misunderstood because he doesn't know what he is. He's acting out of like his like a wild animal, I guess, with the fire. You know how fire can trigger wild animals; they won't go near it and stuff like that. He acted out of fear there, really.
Right.
And the creature from the Black Lagoon was horny. I only watched
true.
that. I watched that one for the first time a couple years ago, and I was like, "This is good."
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. Like, stitched up his hands. You can see that he's got probably hands from a gigantic freaking person.
Yeah.
Oh, look out! Here he comes. Gonna strangle you. Ah, I forget how many people he kills in this.
Yeah.
You're right, though, Caleb. He's walking like this. He's kind of.
Yeah.
He's very loose. His hands are in front of him. It's a certain way he portrayed this character that's it's hard to match it, isn't it?
Yeah. And now he's loose. Yeah, I'll say that Bride of Frankenstein is very good.
I hear that. I hear it's actually better to a lot of people say than this one.
In many ways, it does surpass the original. It's quite interesting.
Except Creature actually was kind of scary. Creature of the Black Lagoon. It's roaring and unsettling, like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle Frank is on the loose.
That's
Frank the Tank. So now he's forgotten about Frankenstein. Wants to get married now. It looks like he's just forgotten about him or abandoned him. I think in the book, because he abandons him, Frankenstein comes back and kills everyone he loves.
mm-hmm.
That was it. I don't. That's how it played out in the book, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by what I've read. That's all, like what I've looked up online. So that information may be wrong, guys. So don't quote me on it. But Sergeant Shitty Pickle says, "What helped make Bride so great was humanizing the monster, greater, and the Doctor's redemption."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the box set. I got to check it out. Just haven't watched it.
House of Frankenstein. That's a later movie.
I tell you what, you got Dracula.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You got Dracula after this. In 32,
I think so. Yeah.
You got Freaks in 1932. Dracula may have been 31 as well, but anyway, somewhere in there, guys. You got King Kong in 1933. I mean, what an age!
Yeah.
God knows, like you had a ton of movies in the 30s there.
Oh, I can't. I need to do some research because I can't remember if this came out before The Mummy or
no,
after.
The Mummy's after.
Okay.
This was the first monster movie, I believe. Okay. I'm pretty sure The Mummy was after. I think The Mummy's closer to the 40s.
Well, you had many Mummy sequels that came out closer to them. Yeah. But I think that The Mummy was 32.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Yeah, The Mummy was 1932, so it came out after this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think Boris Karloff was that known.
Yeah.
When he did this. I think this is what really made him.
Some really beautiful architecture here.
Really is. Yeah. We got an expert here in the chat. The Mummy was a year after this.
Right.
Oh yeah, this is great. I always thought this would be a great idea to insert into the Terminator franchise. Like, imagine if John Connor had a daughter named Maria. You name her Maria, and when he's putting together Uncle Bob, let's say he actually builds Uncle Bob, and she looks at him. She's more like wants to play with the Terminator and wants doesn't look at it as a machine. Looks at it as a person. I always thought that would be an interesting idea to add into something like the Terminator franchise, doing a Frankenstein like thing with it.
Definitely be bizarre.
This is great, man. Look at the mountains in the back too, eh?
Yeah. Looks like the cat ran off.
He's doing a great, like his performance is so good here. Like, this is where we see the other side of him now. Like, Seems pretty harmless.
Yeah.
Dracula came first. Dracula was released in February. Frankenstein in
Okay.
November. Oh, okay, okay.
Right.
That's the Dracula that. Oh, oh, oh.
Right.
I am Count Dracula. Oh, oh. Oh, here we go,
And
man.
here we go.
This is terrifying. Oh, I don't know. It's just the way she smacks into that water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was cut. I don't know if I'm watching the uncut version or not. But they
Yeah, that does
re-released it.
end abruptly,
They
doesn't it?
re-released it in 1937. They were allowed to show. I think that's. I don't think they got to see that. Like
Yeah.
her splashing around. I'm not really sure. But that's that. Did anyone ever see a little girl get killed before on screen? Like, could that be the first time?
Possible.
Like, I don't know. Like
I mean, the thing is, she didn't.
Henry Mockingbird. Sorry, Caleb.
You're good.
Hello, guys. I love Frankenstein. It is a classic horror film. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
The cut version doesn't have the girl being thrown in the water. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I guess if this was being played the cinema back in the day, you wouldn't ever saw that. But
Yeah.
on the re-release, that still that would have been too much to handle, I think. I could be wrong though. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to put myself in a 1930s audience. Like,
You try and show a 1930s audience something like The Terminator.
oh, they'd lose their minds.
Hmm.
There was a little girl killed on screen in a horror movie before called M with Peter. Called M with Peter Lorre, but it's done off screen. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not an expert in these older movies, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to familiarize myself with more of them. This is Mae Clark, I believe.
Right.
The women of that time too, these actresses, they just I don't know, man. There's a beauty and a class, like how classy they are, just punches through the screen.
Yeah.
It's really theatrical acting because that's what they did. They were theater actors.
Yeah. Uh,
The 1931 audience got to see the original cut. It wasn't until 1938 when it was re-released. Yeah, I thought it was
mm,
37, 38, something like that.
yeah.
Still, man, that still would have been effective.
Yeah. For sure.
Sergeant Shitty Pickle says, "All right, gents, I had to hit the hay. You guys have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the movie. Till next time, this is Sergeant Shitty Pickle signing off.
Hey,
See you next time."
Sergeant. We'll see you Thursday for the witches. It's a very nice dress, huh?
Oh, I like the way he comes after her here. Look him coming through the window here.
It's a good contrast too. She's decked out in all white. He's decked out in all black.
Yeah, it's coming out of the shadows. look the way his body, the way he's lumbering after.
Yeah.
Arrgh. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him coming after me. Henry says a lot of scenes were cut in the re-release of 1938 version of Frankenstein, but they were restored for the most part on VHS. The only censored version that is the cut where Dr. Frankenstein says, "In the name of God, now I know what it feels like to be God." Yeah, we were
Right.
talking about that earlier, but
Yeah.
thanks for the recap, though. Caleb was talking about that.
Yeah.
And look at this, carrying the little girl. She's dead. Oh man. Hold up. I came for bitches, not witches. He says good night.
Good night.
We're already heading into our third act.
Crazy, huh?
It's not a very long movie, but
Yeah.
even if you don't like it, you gotta respect it, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's the pioneers of horror here, man. Like,
100%.
and not only that, these are the movies that built Hollywood. Like, built Hollywood.
100%.
You see how the darkness around his eyes is not there no more?
Yeah.
As he's doing the right thing now.
Right.
I find that interesting.
It's a good little change.
Yeah.
And here we have one of the most iconic tropes in movies.
What, the
angry
fire?
mob.
The angry mob. Yeah. Now it's a manhunt.
Right. Or a monster hunt in this case.
It's like in Silver Bullet, man, going after the werewolf.
Yeah. Didn't end well for them.
No. You're right though. It's a really big trope now.
Yeah. But it's iconic. I love it.
Look at this. Shrek, man.
Right? Got the hounds too.
Yep. The Hellhounds.
Of course, notice also that it's all the men going and the women stay behind. Mm.
What do you feel about when they film? Like, I'm assuming this is a studio backlot of
Yeah,
some kind.
that's what it
What
looks
do,
like.
what like I noticed the same thing in The Omen in the graveyard scene that looked
Yeah.
like a studio. What do you think? You think it's Do you like the look of that? Because I kind of like it. To be honest with you,
Well, I think it works well for these movies.
I think
Um,
so too.
of course, it's a lot better than a lot of modern movies today, where it's all green screen. Like, there's a little bit more personality to the sets when it's like this. And I'm not saying that movies don't use this still. It's just a lot of movies today, they love their green screen. They love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
That's actually looks like a matte painting in behind.
Yeah,
You
I
can
think
see
it
the
is.
streaks. You see something kind of odd there,
Yeah.
like it's supposed to be rain or something. You're gonna see a famous shot that's on my thumbnail
Oh, yeah.
for this stream tonight, where they're facing off each other on the top of the mountain.
Hmm.
There it is, iconic shot.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Huh. Wow.
I'll destroy you. Hey, First Blood even let the dogs loose too.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm telling you, the similarities between those two movies.
That's great. It's real good.
The windmill, the classic windmill.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get some really good remakes of these Universal classics coming up.
Yeah, I hope that the Wolfman's going to be good.
I'm confident in the director, so I'm really likely when also. We'll see.
Whoa.
Fights like a freaking wrestler, eh? Does that freaking
Yeah.
so primitive.
Oh, that's a good shot.
When he lands on this windmill, man, this was pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that! Oh,
oof.
that must have been something back in 1931.
Yeah, that looked brutal.
Yeah,
Yet somehow he survived.
let's take him home. Never mind the monster.
Right,
Oh yeah, they burned the windmill down. That's right.
right. Yep. Another iconic shot.
Yeah. Look at this performance, man. This is so
Yeah,
good. No one quite plays it like this.
yeah,
Now, I'm not saying you copy Boris Karloff. That's impossible.
yeah,
But I want to believe that whatever Frankenstein you're doing, that's Frankenstein still.
yeah.
It's the same essence.
Right there. There's the iconic shot.
The windmill burning.
That's a good little cinematic piece right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. It's Henry Frankenstein, not Victor.
Right. Victor was his name in the novel.
Yeah. I got them mixed up.
Yep. It's okay. It happens. Many different interpretations and such.
That's it, everyone. Short, short and sweet, man.
That's
Have
one
a
of
drink.
that's one of the things about these movies is that they end, sometimes they end so abruptly. It's like, wait, what? That's it?
Yeah. Colin Clive, May Clark, John Bowles, Boris Karloff, Edward Van Sloan, Dr. Waldman,
Right.
Fritz, Dwight Fry, as you
Yep.
were saying. No one is alive anymore from that time, guys. Like, if they are, they're really freaking old.
Yeah. Pretty sad. Time going by so fast.
Yet we're still sitting here talking about it, enjoying it, loving it, talking about like getting the detail about it. So it's the power of movies, man.
You know,
They're-
it's important to preserve this history, right? Because for
yeah,
us, we're this is merely us looking into a window of the past. You know, and
yeah,
with how much media is coming out and how much the older content is getting so much scrutiny, we have to remember how these films pioneered what we have today. And
Right.
going back to it, acknowledging it, seeing it in its raw form, not just seeing the parodies or the homages, but actually sitting down and immersing yourself in the stories. It's important. I think that everybody who likes film, especially if you're into horror films, you got to see where this stuff came from. All the stuff you enjoy, this is where it started, right here. So I would encourage anyone that hasn't seen these movies, sit down and watch them. Like a lot of these movies, they're not very long. Like especially with the Mummy films, after the original Boris Karloff, they slowly but surely started to dwindle as far as runtime is concerned. You could literally sit down and watch these in a marathon within not even half a day. That's how short these movies are. If you wanted to enrich yourself in it,
Yeah, I got the nice the 8-disc box set, the 8 movies, is a nice little box set that I love. And I also got a 50 classic horror films that that's just not the Universal monsters. It's all the horror from like the 40s, 30s, 50s, and all that. For sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It's that's a classic, man. Just love me Frankenstein so much. I wish I would watched that a lot more as a kid, but my patience wasn't like it is now. So I'm glad I revisited when I was older. I reviewed it on the old channel. I'll probably review it at some point in the future. But it's I'll be talking about it actually on 31 Days of Horror on the back half. So I don't know what day it will be, but one of the reasons that I was going to watch this anyway for that. So and talk about Uncle Frank, man. But that was great rewatch, Caleb, for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I guess you can plug your channel, buddy. What you got coming up? What you guys are doing? You doing anything special this October?
I want to say yes. I know that we've been talking about wanting to revisit some of these classics. Right now we're in the middle of season 2 of Season of the Witch for Special Agent Carter Sauce, one of my co-hosts. This Thursday, we're going to be watching a movie called The Witches with Angelica Houston. That'll be part of our watch-along series. After that, I'm not too sure. I always tell our listeners and viewers to stay tuned. We usually announce these things a couple days beforehand if we don't have an idea. We stream every Thursday, so Dark Ether Files podcast, you can find us on YouTube, have a Facebook page, Instagram. But yeah, so this Thursday, The Witches. After that, stay tuned.
Awesome. You guys all know you'll be seeing me every single day. So as far as watch parties, I'll be doing The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. After that, I haven't really decided. I'd really like to do What Lies Beneath. Film I really like. If you want to know what kind of horror I like, just watch that movie. I love Hitchcock style movies, man. Absolutely love them. Well, you did Psycho last week. I did Psycho last week, so I'm all about the classics here, the vintage horror. I was thinking about maybe doing, if I have time, I'd like to maybe do Fright Night, and I'd like to do Creep Show maybe, like the original Creep Show, Stephen King's Creep Show. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a ton of time, but we'll see. I'd like to do another one of these. Hell, I might even do the remake of The Wolfman. Maybe I should. I don't know. I'll think about it, guys. I'll think about it. I'll see. But yeah, that's Frankenstein, guys. So thank you guys all for joining. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Helps with the video, helps with the channel. And yeah, I appreciate you all coming out to watch Frankenstein with us tonight. And Caleb, as always, man, it's been too long, dude. Thanks for joining me on this watch along.
Hey, appreciate you inviting me on. It's been a pleasure as always.
Alrighty, so that's it, man. I'm gonna say goodnight. This is Backtrack Cinema. My name is Jason. I'll see you next time, and I will see you in the movies. Cheers.